What's on, guys? J-Hoyd back with you. Today, welcome back to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. We're back here on Skid Row playing some hardpoint on rank play. We kind of fried this one over double positive on the game. And we actually had a pretty good weekend as far as the optic camp goes. So this is going to be the CDL Major 2 recap video. Now, I did not make a preview, didn't give my predictions. There's a good reason for that. We'll get to it in a minute. But before we get into that, we have to say a massive, and I mean a humongous thank you to you guys, because my last video that I uploaded on March 16th has almost 1,000 views. It has 12 comments, and people are loving it. And, you know, that's one of those videos that, you know, I've been thinking about for a while and how I wanted to bring it up. And to see it kind of pop off like that was, like, amazing to see. Like, once I saw it had, I think it was like a couple hundred views, I was like, cool, I made a good video. And now it's approaching 1,000. And I just want to say thank you again. Like, that's absolutely crazy. You know, for smaller YouTubers, smaller content creators, you know, seeing those numbers, try not to focus on the numbers too much and just make quality content. You know, that's what we try to do. But, you know, seeing stuff like that is super nice. I know we had a few guys on there commenting, you know, saying some kind words. So I appreciate you guys if you are watching this next one. And I always appreciate those words and comments. And I do thank you guys very much. But what you guys came here for is the CDL Major 2 recap. And oh boy, did we start out with some good matchups, realistically. So if I were to predict, you know, this bracket, right, it would have gone pretty similar to how it went, because right now we have a pretty clear-cut top 4 teams. After that, it gets a little shaky. So let's start it off with Optic Texas versus Miami Heretics. Heretics haven't won a single map on LAN, and it doesn't start now. Optic Texas 3-0, that's what I would have predicted. Next match, we have Toronto Ultra versus the Vegas Legion. Most likely would have predicted a 3-0 there as well. Toronto does win 3-0. Next matchup has the New York Subliners and the Boston Breach. Probably would have also predicted 3-0 for this one, but this one does go to the game 4. Breach do end up taking one, but New York gets the last laugh, gets their series win. And then you have what kind of surprised me as a game 5, which almost like wasn't this way. But Atlanta FaZe versus the LA Thieves. LA Thieves just haven't really put it together this year, but they have that kind of upset potential. But they took FaZe to the game 5. FaZe ended up winning this one. I don't remember if it was round 11, but they definitely won this one. They move on to face up off against New York. But we jump down to the elimination bracket, where Heretics once again try to find a first map win on LAN this year. They face off against the Royal Ravens. Royal Ravens actually looked pretty good. They end up 3-0ing Miami once again, and Miami is now, I think it's like 0-15 on LAN this year, have not won a single map. They've won some online. People thought they looked good, but they're just not doing well, and I don't know why. But Carolina do win this one. They move on. Our next matchup has the Las Vegas Golden Knights. The Vegas Legion versus the Seattle Surge. The Surge, another team that has a bunch of talent, but just haven't figured it out yet either. Vegas Legion do end up walking away with this one in the game 4, moving them on to the second round. Our next matchup after that one pits the Boston Breach versus the Minnesota Rocker. This one goes game 5, so this is a battle of our like bottom teams here in the elimination bracket. You know, like I said, we have a pretty clear-cut top 4. After that, it's kind of anyone's game, and kind of whoever plays better on that day will get the victory, and that's kind of what happened in this one. Minnesota Rocker, who I think are in like 5th place overall in the league, they do get this one in the game 5. They move on to the second round. Then we had the Battle of LA, being the LA Thieves and the Los Angeles Guerrillas. Both these teams, again, haven't really figured it out. The LA Guerrillas have shown signs of brilliance, but then also they've looked terrible. So Really kind of inconsistencies there for the LA Gorillas, but they knock LA Thieves out in the first round. So Thieves start in winner's bracket, but get eliminated, double first rounded. They're out. LA Gorillas move on to the second round. Next up, we have elimination bracket round 2. The Carolina Royal Ravens once again facing off against the Vegas Legion. This one goes game 5. Actually, a really good one. I think, watch the end of this one. I think it was this one. Maybe it was a different one. I don't remember. But Carolina wins this one. The game 5. Clayster and the boys clutch up. They move on to the third round. The battle of the purple teams, or 2 of the purple teams at least. The Minnesota Rocket versus the LA Gorillas. This one, the Gorillas actually win this one 3-1, moving them on to the the third round to face off against some losers from the winners bracket, which we're going to next, as the Optic Texas boys, the guys behind me, actually end up beating the Toronto Ultra, which was a big win for them after coming off a 7-0 qualifiers, which they did very well. They beat, who was it? They beat FaZe and Toronto, I think it was, online. Something like that. Or New York? Somebody. I don't know. They faced some tough teams online, but they 7-0. They win. They beat Toronto, they beat Heretics 3-0. They then beat Ultra 3-1. So those are huge games right there over an Ultra team, which is arguably, in our top 2 teams. So Optic then moves on to the winners finals, awaiting the winner of our next matchup, in which I was really hoping that it was going to be the New York Subliners, because I feel like Optic would have handled them pretty well in this tournament. But however, FaZe do win that one. It was FaZe and Subliners. They win in the game 5, setting up one of the El Clasico matches. Not really so much the E Clasico, but one of the classic matches, Optic versus FaZe. They face off in the winners finals with a chance at the grand finals. But jumping back down though, we gotta eliminate some more teams down the elimination bracket, round number 3. So with the losses from Ultra and the Subliners, they face off against some other players down here, other teams. So Subliners versus the Royal Ravens. Subliners handle business 3-0. Ultra handle business as well. This one though, going to game 4, not just a 3-0. But Subliners and Ultra meet up in elimination bracket round number 4. Subliners though do get the best of Toronto in this one with the 3-0. 3-0 kind of seems like, they beat him pretty good, but some of these games were really close, so we'll give it up to them. But then in the winners finals, so we have Subliners waiting in the losers finals. We have Optic versus FaZe. Our top 4 teams are in the top 4. It's a pretty standard tournament. This one though, FaZe does win this one in the winners finals. FaZe was playing pretty crazy, right? Optic was playing pretty well. And, it's just tough because obviously one of the best teams has to lose. There's only going to be one winner at this event. And in this one, it was FaZe. They beat Optic. Optic drops down to the elimination bracket finals to face off against New York, where they handled business 3-1, setting up a rematch in the grand finals versus Atlanta FaZe. So Championship Sunday was a bit long for the Optic boys as they go into the best of 7 grand finals versus Atlanta FaZe. This one, though, does end rather quickly in the game 5. FaZe do win this one 4-1. So congrats over there to the FaZe boys. Obviously for Optic, positive outlooks. You beat some top teams. You're expanding your map pool. You got lots of stuff to work on. Some plays were kind of questionable, for what we watched. You make a different play, you win a round. Could have changed things, but you can only do what you can in game. Obviously watching it back, being like, if I do this differently the next time, it's all going to change. Call of Duty is always so different that if you have a certain 1v1, it could play out 20 different ways. So it's not like you could plan 100%, okay, if it gets down to a 1v2, I get 1 kill, I do this, right? You have an idea of what you want to do, but you never know. You have to read the situation. And, it just sucks, obviously, but to get to the grand finals against FaZe, lose against them twice, but you beat Toronto, you beat Ultra, or sorry, Toronto and Ultra. You beat Ultra, you beat Subliners, and you play FaZe pretty tough. Not pretty tough, but decently tough enough that it was a pretty good test for them. Now they know a little bit more about FaZe and how they play in this game. And with FaZe's new roster this year, they look really solid. So congrats to those guys. Congrats to Simp on being the MVP for the event. But the final placements of this, and I don't know why, but no one tweeted out like a final standings page about how much everybody earned and what everybody got as far as CDL points. So I had to pull the one off of the COD Esports wiki, in which we can see it on our screen. So we'll just start right at the top. faze first place with 100 CDL points. Optic Texas in second with 75 CDL points. Third place, New York Subliners with 60 CDL points. Fourth place is the Toronto Ultra with 45 points. Tied in fifth, sixth, Carolina Royal Ravens, LA Gorillas with 30 CDL points. Seventh, eighth is 15 CDL points. Las Vegas Legion and the Minnesota Rocker. And then 9th through 12th, Miami Heretics, Seattle Surge, Boston Breach, and the LA Thieves. 9th through 12th, I think, gets no money. 8th gets like, is it like 20,000? Then it's like 50, and then like, I don't remember the exact amounts, but it doesn't show me on here, which kind of sucks. But that is the final standings for them. We'll take a look, though, at our post-Major 2 standings after the Miami event, and it looks like this. So on top still is Atlanta faze, which sucks, but they are not super far ahead anymore, as Optic and even Toronto kind of closed the gap a little bit. Well, mainly Optic, right? They definitely caught up. They were a little bit behind, but not terribly behind. But Atlanta faze in first place, 295 points, 19-4 map count. Pretty good game-winning percentage. Toronto Ultra, though, in second place, 255 CDL points, 40 behind Atlanta with a 17-5. I guess that's match win count, not necessarily map count. And then third place is Optic Texas. They caught up a bit, right? 245 CDL points, 17-7 match count. And then to round out our top four is the New York Subliners, 180 CDL points, 15-6 match winning record. But then after that, right, you take a look at the 5th through 12th place teams. Not a single one of them has a match winning record. Like, it's not like they're playing close. Like, they are just not winning. Like, if you were to ask me right now, if you had to pick the top 8 teams from the league to play in a best-on-best for the championship at the end of the year, who would I pick? Obviously, we have a clear-cut top 4, right? Atlanta, or I should say faze, Ultra, Optic, Subliners. After that, it is such a huge toss-up between so many teams that I don't know if I could pick. You'd almost have to have those 8 teams play and figure it out, and then the other 4 will just be there whenever they're done. Right? They're just waiting for the other teams to get there. Want to give a quick shout out to the Challengers Miami Open champions, Lore Gaming, who actually have 2 teams. They have one they kind of consider like faze black, but Lore Black and Lore Gold. This one was the Lore Gold team, being Gunless, Classic, Dak, and I think it's 04 or Ofer. I'm not really sure how to say that guy's name, but congrats to them. They beat out, I think it was actually faze black that ended up getting second place. So a crazy event. Can't wait for the next one in, I think it's in April at some point. I'm sorry, I had it wrong. It's actually in May, but I guess the qualifiers are a little bit longer than usual. So the Major 3 qualifiers actually don't start until April 12th, which, as of I'm recording right now, is, what day is it today? The 27th of March. So we have so we still have like 3 weeks. Why there's a huge change, or a huge gap there, I have no idea. But they start April 12th. That's the Major 3 qualifiers. May 16th through May 19th is Major 3. So we have a bit for some of these bottom teams to figure it out. Maybe make roster changes, trade with some other teams, and just figure out how to win. Because if they keep going the way they're going right now, they're not going to be in a good spot, right? It's just going to kind of be whoever gets kind of lucky at the end of the year and ends up doing the best of the worst, if you will. But a crazy event. Was super fun watching some of these matches. I hope you guys did enjoy. Again, thank you for all the support on the recent videos. But as always, guys, if you did enjoy, hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you're new here. As always, guys, we'll see you in the next one.